Hello and welcome to CXO Digital Pulse Dialogues. I have the pleasure and opportunity to host this video with two CIOs from the ITES sector and intend to find out how tech leaders are creating a strategic vision during this crisis that will enable them to bounce back stronger in the long run. How these two companies are shaping their technology that is forward looking and what are their priorities for 2021. I welcome Sachin Jain, CIO, Global IT Operations and CISO at Evaluserve, a global professional services provider offering research analytics and data management services. I also have with me Dr. Chandran R, CIO at Bahwan Cybertek, a global provider of digital transformation solutions in the areas of predictive analytics, digital experience, and digital supply chain management. Thank you, Sachin and Chandy, for joining. Sachin, let's begin with you. The COVID-19 outbreak disrupted business as usual with prolonged impacts on business continuity, mode of working, and growth patterns. What were the typical challenges that you faced, and how did you respond to this crisis with both short-term and long-term actions to make quick fixes and increase the resilience to future disruptions?
Yeah, see, in our business, the resiliency is very, very important, and in fact, it is part of some of the contractual obligations we have with our clients that we need to recover as quickly as possible. And there are SLAs, there are RTOs and RPOs we sign with our clients, and what we do. We actually design all these business continuity plans and we share with our clients. And there are some plans which actually are part of the contracts we sign with our clients. And we do the drills every few months or maybe a few times in a year.
Right.
And that also gets reviewed by our clients. Luckily for us, we were quite ready to deal with this kind of challenge. Obviously, the scale is different. Nobody expected that this kind of scale would come, and even
the duration of the
the duration and
right.
the scale also. Because see, typically what happens when you are a global organization, when you have multiple offices across the world in different countries, so what you normally expect that maybe an event like maybe earthquake, flood, fire, which might be restricted to one part of the geography,
Right.
and then you still have a lot of room to recover or maybe continue the business at that scale.
Right. Right.
But this was an event which disrupted
Across
entire
geography.
world,
Right.
and all our offices were closed. Luckily, our China office came up very quickly and
Okay.
surprisingly, and
Right.
that is the only office which is operational since I think April or May.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
rest of the global offices are closed, and when you have a large scale of operations getting shut, and then almost 4,000 plus people have to work from home. And I mean, though we used to give that facility to our employees to work from home whenever they wish, or maybe if they are traveling. So that remote working was not new, but I think it's true for most of the ITs organization that they had these facilities, they had those systems, but obviously scale was way too big, and it was very, very different. Some of the performance related challenges and some of the device related challenges also, because we still have some percentage of our workforce working on desktops.
Right.
So basically enable people work from home if they do not have laptops. Then the third piece was around security, where you need to ensure that all the data remains secure. And there were certain projects where people could not take data outside of office. And in fact, there were a few projects where people could work only on designated IP addresses,
Okay.
which were of our
Just to
office,
ensure that
and
they're secure.
making those system accessible, creating those exceptions with the help of client. So it took obviously some bit of time, but the disruption was not that big. Another part, which is I think very important and which probably is maybe is getting discussed today also, it was around the digital part of the business. And And luckily, there also we had worked on moving a lot of workloads to the cloud, and we adopted a lot of SaaS application for our different use cases. For us, I mean, that part of thing worked very well. There were challenges, but we could address them with the time.
Time.
In fact,
Right,
let
Sandy.
me come.
Yeah. No,
In the
how did you go
pandemic,
up?
it just didn't give us time how to react to that. It was March 23rd when we said we have to work from home.
Yeah, it was
But
all sudden. So
as Sachin was mentioning, in our offshore, although on-site there was no problem because people were using laptops and they were working from home, there was no issue. But here, most of the people were working in desktops from office. And they are connecting to the client, and security was a major threat which was there if we provide them with laptop. One is laptops are not available, but however, the whole thing with our system support group, which is the hardware infrastructure, within 2 days, we provided all of them with the laptops. And for security reasons, what we did is we connected them to the desktops in the office. So they will access the desktops and work.
right.
The client didn't have any difference from what they were doing. So that is the thing. So with that, immediately we could arrest the security part of it. And within 2 days, that is 24th and 25th of March, we were back in the running and client had no problems at all. In fact, after that, now if you see, the productivity we have seen is much more because people don't have much distractions.
It is beyond doubt that CIOs have definitely increased their organizational credibility. Sachin, Chandy, I'm sure you'll agree. During this
Yes.
pandemic,
Yes.
they've been instrumental in dealing with the initial impact of the crisis, especially enabling a newly dispersed workforce to work from home. Now, this change has now been established in some form. However,
Yes. And
there
in
are
fact,
some
the work from home has become
a new normal,
norm.
I believe. Yeah.
New normal.
But I'm sure there are more complex challenges as we move ahead. So one is to tackle the recovery piece and sustain business growth. You touched upon the stress piece. So there is a mental fatigue as well seeping in with a lot of employees. Though yes, digital has enabled them to work from anywhere, but then that's a different kind of challenges that you face. How are you dealing with all these? So one is to ensure that you move towards the recovery piece, and also ensuring that your workforce is well tuned.
The one thing is which is very important is be constant touch with the employees, and that is one thing because I insist all the down below project managers to be on practically everyday basis to be discussing with the people, understanding their not only their challenges as office and the personal challenges also, so that they are up to the stress level can be decreased.
On the business side, Chand, so how
Yeah,
are you trying
on
to
the
also recover, and so look at growth and move ahead? So, you, as we were discussing earlier, you said, new business opportunities are not coming their way, so you're sustaining the existing customers that you have.
Yes, we are sustaining the existing customers, trying to see whether we can get more business from the same clients. And that is how we can increase the business. So, for example, some of our clients, in fact, the business has increased by another 30-40% also. Those are things which is happening. That is how we are sustaining ourselves. But going to new customers is a challenge, which is what is happening. But you have to keep it running so that definitely another 3 months or 6 months,
Things
things
will
will
improve.
come back to normal or near normal. So then we can look at better business. But you have to sustain yourself, and that is what is really important.
Important. Sachin, so one is the well-being of the employees as you enable them digitally, and again, looking at the business growth, and you're leading that piece as well, driving new business opportunities for the company.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Chandy. I mean, one thing which is important is being in touch with employees, and when they are working remotely, the one feeling which is part of the when you feel a part of the organization. And when you go to office every day, obviously you get to see people, you socialize, you you pick up different thoughts. Obviously, you share your own thoughts, but you pick up certain ideas, and uh, and at times when you are in a very difficult situation, whether it's due to some personal issues or due to some professional challenges, at least you are able to take some help from colleagues. And when you are working from home, it's all virtual world. But what Chandy said, I think it's very very important for a project manager to remain in touch with his or team members, and whether it's maybe a weekly call or maybe a daily touch up or maybe daily stand up call, whatever it is. But even 5-10 minutes, I think that gives the feeling back to employees that they are part of a bigger organization, and everybody is still working together. They take care of each
Right.
other. And then on top of that, obviously, you look up to your HR and employee engagement functions to do certain activities, to bring that cheer on everybody's face, and uh, and give that feeling again back that they are part of the larger organization
Got
and
it.
alone in this challenging situation.
And it has to be a continuous process, Sachin, right?
Yeah, it has to be continuous process,
Yes.
because this thing is not going to go away very soon,
True.
and we are looking at maybe another 6 to 10 months again before we probably maybe see this pandemic coming in control. And uh, and and I think 2021 we would still expect maybe more than 50% of our workforce working from home.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, or maybe lower or higher depending on how this whole
In
pandemic.
fact,
Yeah,
we are planning for almost 85% to be working from home.
yeah.
And the thing is giving away the real estate, which is what it is, so that we can conserve on the cost also.
It's somewhat similar to what Chandy said. I mean, one is the sustainability of your existing business that
Right.
continues to happen, and obviously there are certain areas where clients are looking to invest more. One is clearly the digital transformation, which is on the top, and the business is growing on some dimension, and on some we probably maybe see a bit of a reduction. Right, balances out on its own.
Right.
I think 2020 has been more of a sustainability issue, and
Yes.
sustain the business whatever you had. New businesses would probably maybe come at its own speed, but yeah, the growth, overall growth would be on the slower side.
Any specific areas or key priorities that you will be looking at?
One, we need to see how do we optimize the overall infra, looking at this situation. And if we look at pandemic in particular, we probably need to invest more in building our DR strategy. And I mean, though I'm not saying that we are not there, but we probably have to see how do we make it
Strengthen.
more agile, how do we make it more scalable, how do we make it available more quicker, and then building all those security controls around it so that we gain the confidence from our clients and there are no issues around the data breaches. I think the focus and in terms of time and money, I think will go in some of these dimensions to see how do we scale our digital footprint, how do we ensure that there is no dependency as such, where again if there is any situation, whether it's now or maybe after, let's say, another 10 years, we have maybe more severe situation, then how do we deal with it? How do we uh, maybe look at the modern way of functioning?
And this is
Right.
the situation where cloud computing will definitely help, because we have been depending upon infrastructure on premises.
Right.
And now with this, cloud is becoming more and more important, because the remote working and not having on-premise infrastructure. So it is better to go into the cloud.
If we talk more from the business standpoint, the DevOps and
Right.
and edge computing you mentioned, and AI, machine learning, and advanced analytics, and the cognitive
Yes.
computing, which is again a combination of AI, ML. Those things are actually getting picked up at very good speed.
We have products like predictive analytics. In fact, that was again where we have introduced the AI and robotics, and that's the thing which we are trying to do this so that it can help the clients in doing the edge computing and all that. And in fact, we have a feedback system by which any conferences, anything, we can develop the feedback, etc. That is called Drop Thought, which is we have a separate company for that itself, by which we can do the feedback system for any, even this kind of discussions, we can do the feedback. And those are things which is there. And we are looking at the digital transformation in all ways. In fact, edge computing is very much used in this drop thought thing. And all colleges in US are using this feedback system from us.
Thank you, Sachin. Thank you, Chandy. I really enjoyed this conversation with you. Appreciate your time and your thoughtful answers. Thank you for being
Yeah.
part of this conversation.
Thank you, Ashwani. Thank you, Sachin. Thank you.